Bear down.
So the Chicago Bears kicked off free agency with the signing of running back DeAndre Swift, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles. A very good signing. And then that was it for the day. But don't worry, Bears fans, as most of the targets that I think the Bears were really targeting are still available. We're going to discuss those. We're going to discuss the cap situation, and we're going to discuss a little bit of hurt feelings from the Caleb cult and the trade Justin Fields crowd and liars in the media. But before we get started, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to make sure you stay locked in to Draft Capital Sports, where we provide all the NFL draft news, NFL offseason news, trades, etc. for your 2024 NFL offseason. Now let's get back to the video. So first things first, let's get into the two signings, that being Kevin Byard and DeAndre Swift. Love both of the signings because they're both at a fair market value, $7.5 million and $8 million annually, respectively. And I think they're both going to be very big impact players for the Chicago Bears, both at positions of need. I know a lot of people said we did not need running back. They love Khalil Herbert's yards per carry. The problem is he doesn't carry the ball enough, and he is a liability in the passing game. You have to pass block as a running back, period, point blank. You can't scheme an offense with a running back who's known to not want to pass block. It makes it easy to sack your quarterback. All you have to do is scheme up blitzes whenever that back is in the game. But we'll get to that a little later. Now, the Twitter X timelines were full of panic and worry about the Bears not making a big splash. I told you all that they were not interested in Wilkinson. He got paid way too much because the DT market value is way too high. Now, the Justin Jones contract, that wasn't a bad one. The 3 years, $30 million to the Cardinals. I wouldn't have been upset if the Bears brought Justin back on that contract, though I did not prefer him just coming back at all. I just don't think he was productive enough. But for the Cardinals, that's a good deal. But the Bears, I think, are zeroed in on Danielle Hunter. And other than the Texans, I don't think we're going to have much competition for Danielle Hunter. I know some people are saying the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens have the money to pay, but they figured it out before. They can do it again. The Leonard Williams went for way more money than I would have paid him if I was the Chicago Bears. $21 million a year for Williams at this age in production. That's a no. But what that Leonard Williams contract does do is I think it makes it hard for the Bears to negotiate with Eric Armstead if they wish to do so. He's going to be looking for somewhere around 18 to 20 million a year. I don't think that should be his value. I think it should be closer to 15 to 17 as more alerts come in, and the Minnesota Vikings have signed Sam Darnold. Shout out to the Viking. You all are crushing it. No, really, you're crushing it. And speaking of the Vikings, the contract that they gave to Jonathan Grenard is going to push the value of what Danielle Hunter is asking for probably up. I mean, they're paying Grenard $19 annually. That's the average of the contract. So that means Danielle Hunter is probably going to want around 20 to 25. The Bears do have that to give, but the question is, do they want to give that? Now we're going to look at some of the remaining edge rushers left, as well as Danielle Hunter and their value, and see maybe where the Bears are looking to spend that money to get that help on that defensive line. And though Danielle Hunter would be a Madden type, all Madden signing and just awesome, I really don't think the Bears want to spend that much money on the edge rusher position. It would be roughly $40 million between him and Montez Sweat. But there are other options, like my first option, Chase Young, whose value and his market is probably not what he thought it was going to be and what he hoped it would be. I think you can get Chase Young for around $15 million annually on the high end. I mean, I'm looking Leonard Floyd, got $10 million annually. Dorrance Armstrong got $11 million annually. They don't have the injury concerns with Floyd. He is an older player, but he was much more productive than Chase Young all around the board. So despite the injury concerns, I think Chase Young is a name that's still in play. Emmanuel Ogbah, who was cut by the Miami Dolphins. He's a bigger defensive end. I think he fits the physical profile. He has been productive the last couple years. He has had some injury concerns, but he also could be a name that the Bears are looking at. DJ Wanham of the Vikings, formerly of the Vikings, with the big contract to Jonathan Grenard. So I could see Wanham, even though he did injure himself. I believe he tore his quadriceps in December, but he probably will be back for training camp. That's about a 6-month injury, I think, 6 to 8 months. So he'll probably be back for training camp. That's going to hurt his value. So the Bears could get him for a cheaper price as long as it looks like he's going to recover from that fully. Another guy, Darrell Taylor of Seattle. He's a smaller edge rusher. He's a restricted free agent, but Seattle doesn't seem to be that interested in bringing him back. They could have extended him a couple of times, and they chose not to do so. Jihad Ward of the Giants. He's definitely the odd man out after they made the big trade for Brian Burns, which they wildly overpaid him. But Jihad Ward is a nice defensive end / edge rusher who does put pressure on the quarterback. He's coming off, I think, his best season with the Giants, with 5 sacks, 9 QB hits, 15 pressures. I believe he was coached by Travis Smith with the Raiders at some point. Not sure about that. But Jihad Ward is a name you could look at. Randy Gregory's still out there. Yannick Ngakoue could come back. Casey Toohill, who was formerly of the Commanders, a teammate of Montez Sweat, had a decently productive season this past season rushing the passer. He ended up with 5 sacks, 7 QB hits, few pressures, 6 tackles for loss. Nice production from him. Carl Lawson is a name that's kind of been forgotten after he had I guess was a redshirt year with the New York Jets. They just didn't use him for whatever reason, even though he was healthy. Travis Gibson is out there, you guys. We love some Travis Gibson, some Rasheem Green. Can I interest you in that? Probably not. But there are guys available. Probably not going to be the big name, big splash that we hope for. I think Chase Young is probably the closest we would get to that. I wouldn't mind Jihad Ward, though, out of the other guys that I named. Jihad Ward, Casey Toohill, Emmanuel Ogbah, if he's healthy, would be great. DJ Wanham, if he's healthy, would be great also. So there are some lower or middle tier edge rushers still available. As far as defensive tackle goes, one name that I saw that I didn't realize was a free agent was Adam Butler, formerly of the Raiders, who this past season he had 5 sacks, 8 QB hits, 9 tackles for loss. He fits the size profile that the Bears like, so that's a sneaky name. Just if they miss out on an Eric Armstead. Of course, Quentin Jefferson is another name I mentioned. Those videos, the links to those videos, I talked about both of those players. They're up above. Gray box. Yes. And a little bit. And yes. Okay. So you can watch those videos to learn more about those 2 players. And a vet defensive tackle, though, it may be a signing. It's not guaranteed that they're looking to even sign a vet defensive tackle at this point. They'll probably bring in a guy during training camp just to fill a roster spot if they don't fill it during the draft. Defensive tackle, they might be looking towards the draft yet again. But the center position was a confusing one for me today. But I did, in one of the last videos, the Ryan Bates video, I warned some of you Bears fans. I know you guys were in the comments, especially in the running back poll that I put up, saying that we need center, we need to sign a center, forget about signing a running back. Ryan Bates is probably going to be your starting center. Ryan Poles really likes Ryan Bates. He tried to sign him and then he traded for him. You don't do that for just a backup. You just don't. So Ryan Bates is probably going to be the starting center. They probably will still draft a center in the draft on day 1 or day 2. Not day 1, but day 2. But what the centers signed for today, I would have liked to seen the Bears get in on that, especially the Aaron Brewer contract with the Dolphins, 3 years, $21 million. I mean, I think he's a very good starting center, and we could have swung that one and probably shored up that interior offensive line today. And the Lloyd Cushenberry contract with Tennessee, 4 years, $50 million, 26, I believe, guaranteed. That seems like a value. Ooh, excuse me for hitting the microphone. That seems like a value to me for a starting center. Probably one of the best starting centers in the league. So not sure why we didn't go there. I just think that they think that highly of Ryan Bates. And so that's the center position. Now, wide receivers. The wide receiver market didn't get as crazy as I thought it would. The Gabe Davis contract is a little chunky, but I knew he would get that. He is a downfield threat. But other than that, I think Calvin Ridley and some of the other wide receivers who are available are probably not going to receive what they think they should. Now, for me, the Bears' options should be Josh Reynolds of the Detroit Lions, even though he likes to drop the ball in the playoffs. He's still a pretty good wide receiver. The number one target probably is Curtis Samuel, just because his familiarity with DJ Moore, and he has the skill set that the Bears are missing that they hope they had with Darnell Mooney that unfortunately didn't really pan out. Hollywood Brown is probably looking to get overpaid. Probably not going to happen. I see him going back to the Cardinals. KJ Osborne of the Vikings had a breakout year last season. Not really enthused with him. Of course, there's OBJ. Don't want OBJ. Tyler Boyd would be nice. I think he's probably either going to go back to Cincinnati or he's going to end up in Tennessee. So Curtis Samuel is where we're at. Oh, also Cedric Wilson of the Miami Dolphins will also be a very nice wide receiver. Can play the Z, can play the Y, the slot. So one of those guys, I think the Bears will definitely, we have to get another veteran wide receiver. And of course, go into the draft and maybe draft a couple as well. Got to get that wide receiver room where we need it for our quarterback. And lo and behold, it looks like Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback. Who could have ever thought that? Wow. Even though the media says, well, his value was too low. I'm sorry. Did the New England Patriots trade Mac Jones for a 6th round pick? I mean, if the Bears were just trying to get rid of Justin Fields, surely Atlanta or one of the teams that needed a quarterback would have traded a 6th round pick for Justin Fields. I mean, he does suck, doesn't he? Isn't he like the worst quarterback for some of you Caleb cultists out there? We're going to discuss that in the next video. This is just a little primer. We're going to have a Justin Fields conversation. So be looking out for that on Draft Capital Sports. Thank you for watching. This was the free agency day 1 recap. Bears fans, calm down. There's plenty of time. There's guys left. I know we have the money to spend. It's not going to burn a hole in our pocket. Ryan Poles is going to build the team the right way. Relax. 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 We're making the playoffs next year. You heard it here first. I guarantee it. Thank you for watching Draft Capital Sports. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Stay tuned for the next video. We out. Peace.